Hey everyone, so for today's video, we are going to be talking about some beauty fails and regrets of 2021. I do have my best of beauty coming very soon, so make sure that you have your notifications set to on for when that video launches. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about some products that I tried that I wasn't a fan of. Definitely an air of regret surrounding this little box I have in front of me. Actually saw my dear friend Kackie do this video, so I will leave her video linked down below for you guys. I highly recommend in 2022 that if you have not checked out her channel and subscribed, that you go and do that because you will not regret it. And also a quick little disclaimer that if you love any of these products, to keep loving them, and also understand that I'm just doing my due diligence on my channel, and I need to tell folks that watch my channel if I don't like a product and if it didn't work for me, because that's my job here to do that. Let's first start off with a product from Tom Ford. Now I did have a Tom Ford kind of overview video in the works, and I planned for that video, but I've kind of been losing steam. I'm getting overwhelmed by like all of the videos that I need to do. So if you guys still want to see that video, please leave me a comment down below. This is the Traceless Soft Matte Foundation from Tom Ford. I have not even had the chance to talk about this yet on my channel, but I needed to put it out there that I was incredibly excited for this product. And I think that this is where the disappointment comes in with all these products, is that I was very excited to try all of these products, and the fact that they were disappointing, it hurts just a little extra bit. But I was very excited for this product because a lot of folks were saying that for dry skin, if you wanted more coverage, this was where it's at. It is a more expensive product, but I always talk about on my channel to you guys that I am willing to spend a little bit more money for a formula that really performs and that gives me something different. It has that X factor, and I'm willing to spend more money on a formula that really excites me. Unfortunately, this was not that formula. Now, I do think that for those of you that like more of a full-on coverage, then you will enjoy this. But unfortunately, the reason why I didn't like this foundation wasn't that it didn't look hydrating. I did feel like it was a hydrating product, but it just looked a bit heavy on my skin, and it never really quite sets down either. So I always felt like I was wearing a lot of makeup, and that makeup was ready to come off at any point. And that is really like not a feeling that is comforting when I have my makeup on throughout the day. It didn't wear poorly either. It's just the overall feeling of it on my skin, the occasional look in the mirror and just saying my makeup just looks heavier than usual. And for such an expensive product, I was not a fan of that. I know a lot of people really enjoy this one, and I think with a light hand, I still can get a decent look, a bit too makeup-y on my skin personally. The next beauty fail of this year was the Glossier Monochromes, and I bought mine in the shade Almond. I definitely see why a lot of people were like, you only get 3 shadows, what's the problem here? And this is a bit bulky too, like what's going on? All of those things I definitely acknowledge. But again, if the performance of the product is there, if the formula is gorgeous, then of course these are things that I'm willing to look past personally. Unfortunately, these formulas just really did not wow me. I really think that Glossier has had a lot of missed opportunities within their eye products. Personally, I think that there are some shades of the Sky Wash I still enjoy, but there are definitely a lot of misses, and I think the same thing goes with the lid stars as well. And then they decided to put out powder eyeshadows, which I think again is fine, but unfortunately, these just look a bit flat on my eyes. These formulas, I just feel like are a little bit lackluster, and I don't know how else to describe it other than when they are on my eyes, because I love a really emollient look, I love cream shadows, I love that reflectiveness, these just seemed a bit flat. They weren't really particularly flattering. They just felt a bit uninspired. The shine I thought could be shinier. The mattes I think could have been a little bit more pigmented and rich. You could get a decent, like, pretty look out of it. But it's also just not something that I would recommend to anyone. It was just, again, I think it's just another launch in 2021 that was just like, I want more. I'm looking for more. Where is the romance? I want my makeup to romance me and to make me feel super pretty. And yeah, this one just was not that for me. This product is one that I was very, very excited for, especially because I am such a huge fan of the liquid blushes from Rare Beauty. They launched their melting blushes earlier this year, and I was just so disappointed in this formula because unfortunately it is just a very thin, slippy and finicky formula. So quite often it will move around the product under it, and yet it's still very, very thin, which makes for a confusing formula because I think that it's pretty common that we think of thin formulas being a little bit more blendable. They're not going to mess with your foundation or concealer or whatever as much as a kind of creamier, thick formula. But this one is so thin, and it definitely has a touch of transparency to it. It almost feels like a blush colored like silicone primer. Could be very pretty for those of you that don't wear foundation or concealer, but anytime I wear it, I find that there's just that differentiation between this texture and any other texture that I have on my face. So it really takes away from the illusion of the blush. Unfortunately, I was not a fan of this one, but I still very, very highly recommend their liquid blushes, both the dewy and the matte, though I even prefer the matte formula, I think. Next, we have the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme. Now, I feel like lip plumpers are kind of starting to come back. They definitely had their moment this summer. I personally like a lip plumper. I think that they're really fun. I love a lip plumper that will kind of give me that slight tingle, but in general will just make my lips look really smooth and healthy. Just give me that little bit of plump. Now, this product from Too Faced, I think a lot of people really enjoy it, and I do believe it's one of the most popular lip plumpers on the market, but unfortunately, I just have to throw it out there that if you are someone that does not have really clean lip lines, like I feel like my lip lines are a bit blurred with the rest of my skin, this is going to make you look a bit sick, or at least it did for me. I felt like it definitely delivered on the plump, definitely gave me that juicy, plumped up look. But then once the shine of this kind of fades away, which it does, it's more of a serum product rather than a gloss. Once that faded, it just made my lips look chapped. I looked a bit sick, like, you know, my skin was irritated, especially obviously around my lips. There are other lip plumpers on the market that will give me the shine and give me the plump that I'm looking for without making me look chapped and just making my lips not look quite as healthy. Make sure to check out my best and worst lip plumper video from this year if you're interested in lip plumpers. Now next, this is a product that I know a lot of people still love, and it is the KVD Good Apple Skin Perfecting Foundation Balm. I think that this is actually good makeup if you want more of a glam skin look. I think that on camera, for example, this looks really, really good. But unfortunately, in real life, the way that this looked on my skin was quite heavy. Now, you could go in with a lighter hand with a product like this, but for me, personally, it was almost kind of like a similar experience that I had with the Tom Ford Soft Matte Foundation. Maybe if you've been looking into this one, you could save your money and pick up this one instead, because I do think that the formulas perform pretty similarly on the face. But for me personally, I just found that it kind of did the similar thing where it would come off very easily on my fingers, and that was a little bit uncomfortable. I also felt that in general it just looked a bit heavier on my skin, especially because I have some hair on my face, I think, as a lot of us do, and I just noticed, like, especially on my jawline, I noticed this immediately cling to that, and it felt like my face looked especially fuzzy, and it just did not want to sink down into my skin the way that my more favorite foundations do. For example, I still get a really nice perfected look with the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, which is the one that I have on my face today, without it exaggerating any of my hair on my face or peach fuzz. And by the way, I definitely have gotten comments before telling me to shave my face. That is something I also tried in 2021. And I will use like an electric razor here and there, but like the dermaplaning thing on my face makes me break out pretty immediately. My skin just does not like it. So unfortunately, that's not something that I can do. But for me, this was a product that I was really, really excited for, and unfortunately it did not perform. Now that being said, it does look good on camera. Now a glowy highlight product that I had very high hopes for that I didn't like was this one from Chanel. So like I mentioned earlier, I love makeup products of all price ranges. I do think that I'm expecting a little bit more when you're paying a little bit more money. And this one from Chanel really disappointed me. It did this weird thing where I felt like it just gave me a layer of highlight, of pearly highlight, but it set down so fast that for some reason it just felt less luminous than it could have been. I just think that you are better off going with something like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter if you want a similar look to this. I also felt that it was quite drying. Like it almost set down in an unflattering kind of way that again kind of took away from the glow, made it a touch flatter. It was again just one of those products I was just like, like what? I'm just expecting more. I would also recommend the Charlotte Tilbury highlight wand as well over this product, because that product will still set down if you want a product that sets down on the cheekbones, but it still gives you the intensity and the glow. Another product, I was so excited for this one because I think you guys know I really like to try and find those hidden gems on my channel. I'm like, I want to find those products that no one's talking about and bring light to them. Well, I thought it was gonna be this one, and it definitely is not. This is the Ulta Beauty Stay Cheeky Liquid Blush. You can see it's very similar packaging to like the Glossier Cloud Paints, to the Flower Beauty Blush Bombs, which by the way, you should just pick the Flower Beauty Blush Bombs over these. But this was just kind of a weird, shimmery blush mess. Unfortunately, this just has straight glitter in it. So what I noticed was that, especially in this area where I have more pores, I would just notice it kind of collecting in those pores and just little tiny sparkles just sitting there. And that is what annoys me about this formula, because I don't think the formula in and of itself is bad. It's just these little tiny sparkles that are sitting there kind of exaggerating your pores. That is what I didn't like about this product. Now that being said, maybe I can check out some of the other shades to see if they have that sparkle to them. Again, because I think that the formula itself is nice. Right now I'm looking at my hand and I'm just like, who formulated this and thought that it would be pretty to literally just have, like, just dump a bunch of sparkles in it? It is not going to be flattering. Another product that I was not a fan of this year that I had very, very, very high hopes for were the Fenty eye brighteners. I bought two because I was like, I'm really excited for this launch. I'm someone with more of a dark hollowness under my eyes, and if I can find a color correction product that is very thin and skin-like, I get really excited. But this one was so thin that it looked quite dry under my eyes, and if you know that kind of like alligator scaliness that you can get under your eyes sometimes, I noticed that really drying concealers will give me that look and hydrating ones won't. And I actually don't think that particularly my skin under my eyes is super peely, but this made it look quite peely. Again, I would much rather just not wear a concealer under my eyes than this exaggerate texture and make the quality of my skin look worse. And when I apply makeup that makes my skin look worse than how it looked before, that's when I'm like, I don't, like, what's going on here? And lastly, this is a product that I tried recently in a video. It is the Clinique Chubby Stick Shadow Tint, and this is the shade Ample Amber. Now, I do have one of the other shades, and I think that that one is pretty good, but this one was just like, it doesn't even look that bad there, but it just, on the eyes, it's like, again, it's not giving much. Kind of doing half of its job. It doesn't give me really a lot of light. It doesn't give me a lot of shine. It's just kind of sitting there and giving a little bit of color, but again, not really rich color, not even really a rich texture to it, in the sense that it makes the quality of your eyes look prettier. The sparkle doesn't really add a lot of light. It's just kind of a wash of color that I could probably just get with the bronzer that I'm wearing. So it is just, again, it's just one of those kind of uninspired meh kind of products for me. So those were just some of my beauty fails for 2021, beauty regrets. But as Kackie actually said in her video that I think is really important, is that it does give me the opportunity when I try out products that I don't like to tell you. So again, if you don't like any of these products, I don't want to hurt your feelings about it, but it's really important to me that I am able to share with you guys the ones that don't work out for me. So I hope that you guys did enjoy the video. If you appreciated the video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one.